Good afternoon, everyone. My name is Reihan Isralfi from class LA 61 LEC from Seminar on Research class, and I'm here presenting you the my seminar about environmental issue analysis in James Cameron movie Avatar using eco-criticism. So a little bit of background. Avatar movie is a very long movie back in 2009 that a successful box office hit that we could say because all in all, Avatar is like one of the top one movie in the world, and it was released in 2009. And what James Cameron do is very innovative towards the cinema. And right now, I'm going to talk about the analysis about the error criticism that are in Avatar 2009. So the background of this study is that eco-criticism can be defined as a study of relationship the between literature and physical environment. The second is the increasing rate of deforestation as well as forest degradation, for example, can be found in many parts of the world. And the other background of study is a commonly held view assert that human is responsible for all environmental issues that are happening around us. And Avatar tells a story about RDA Corporation, an organization that explore a planet in Alpha Centauri, a star system called Pandora, with an objective to mine the precious mineral known as unobtainium. The story is focused on the main character called Jake Sully as he faced a tough choice of whom he will fight and whom he will protect, as well making the viewer experience his relationship toward the Na'vi and human. So as the story progresses, Jake Sully start to question whether it's right to harvest the mineral in the environmental of the Pandora to the people of the Na'vi, or he must do what is right for the people for the humanity in back on Earth. So as for previous study, he focused on the green film criticism and its future by Adrian Ivaki from the University of Vermont, in which his writing was published in 2008. The result was the writer had an opportunity to learn on how the ecological movies are related to reality and how to be able to understand the indirect lesson from fictional green film. The second is the eco-criticism in Disney or Pixar movie Wall-E and the degreening cycle by Andre Valente Madureira. The result are the audience got a better fundamental on how environmental impact life as part of the research. The problem formulation that was found in this research are: how does the movie portray the ecological concept of environment, and how is the main character perception on the environmental shift? As for scope and limitation, the scope of this research is Avatar, directed by James Cameron in 2009. As for the limitation, the study will only focus on analyzing the environmental issue in the movie. As for goal and function, the goals and function of this research are to discuss the ecological concept of the environment throughout their plots and show the different perception of the main character towards the environment after spending his time on Pandora. Start from the theoretical framework. Number one is the definition of eco-criticism. Gara 2004, in his book Eco-Criticism, said that the definition of eco-criticism is the study of the relationship of the human and the non-human, cultural history, and entailing critical analysis of the term human itself. The second is the first wave of eco-criticism. Environment is actually referred to natural environment. In practice, the realism of both natural and human seems to be more detached, as both attributes are regarded as a recent environmental crisis. The second wave, or the newer revisionist wave of eco-criticism, has closer alliance with environmental science, specifically the life of science. In conclusion, Both trends of eco-criticism highlight how humans perceive the environment and how environment affect both people and other living organisms. While in the first way of eco-criticism emphasis that human may have the ability to affect the environment both positively and negatively, the second way of eco-criticism explores deeper to the destruction on the environmental that is mainly caused by human action. As for eco-criticism as literary criticism, eco-criticism wants to evaluate the text and ideas in terms of their coherence and usefulness as response to environmental crisis. All ecological criticism share the fundamental premise that human culture is connected to the physical world and also affected by it. Eco-criticism is perceived as a relationship between nature and culture, especially in the cultural aspect of language and literature. And from a theoretical perspective, eco-criticism connects to the human and the non-human creature. In contrast with eco-criticism, ecology is more interested in a view of human natural system from the holistic view despite of the nature of topic that is continuously evolving and changing in both organic and mechanical. Therefore, eco-criticism defines more deeply the meaning of the world to also include the entire ecosphere. As for eco-criticism in movies, Stock is one of the most widely known eco-critic that concerned with how the relationship with physical environment is reflected in literature. As Stock once said in 2001 that eco-criticism is different with other literature in the way that they stand on ethical standard and commit and regard the nature not as an object of study by having a real connection with environment. And the next is different from Stock. Glofelty defined eco-criticism as a study relationship between literature and environment. She presented as a series of questions that she viewed should be asked to evaluate a novel, play, or movie that brought up eco-criticism, including what role the physical setting has in the plot of a particular novel, how human characterize nature writing as a genre, how literacy affect the relationship between human and the natural world. In comparison, Stock took more general view that eco-criticism can be about instrumental in helping us to understand and to do something about the crisis we have created. As for the intrinsic element of the plot is plot first is plot. Plot is the first element of fiction that tells an important story that goes through the narrative. Plot has structure of exposition, complication, climax, and following action and resolution. And then there's character and characterization. The second element of fiction is character and characterization. Every character has a role that determines his or her importance in the story. And lastly, for theme, the last element that is contained in every fiction work is a theme. A theme is basically a stand as the backbone of the story. And I guess that is all for my presentation of seminar on research. Thank you all for listening. I hope you all enjoy it, and I'll see you in class. Thank you.